This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Houses lost. Some evacuees in Annapolis County learned the Long Lake wildfire destroyed their homes. Miners Museum, despite a surge in visitors this season, the Cape Breton tourist attraction still needs some financial help. And helping hemlocks, raising an insect army to protect some of Nova Scotia's largest trees.
Lots of sunshine on tap over the next couple of days, but watching a system rolling in from the west with some showers on tap into the weekend. Your full forecast is coming up.
Good evening. Families in Annapolis County who've been displaced by the Long Lake wildfire are finding out if their homes have been destroyed. One of those families is about to welcome a new baby and just set up a nursery in the home when they got the devastating news. The CBC's Josh Hoffman has that story.
We're still waiting to find out the exact number of buildings that have been lost to the Long Lake wildfire, but some evacuees have already been told they won't have a home to go back to.
We had been tracking the storm on Saturday. It was 5 kilometers from our house, and then when the hurricane tail came up, it just blew it directly to our property. And so I had been watching and waiting. I heard other people had gotten calls. We didn't know if the calls were good or bad. And then I got a call saying, we're contacting those with the most damage first. And I thought, okay. I said, well, thanks for the heads up. And then 3 hours later, they said, we need to see you tomorrow. And I just called him a mess saying it's gone.
Megan Yellen and Michael Zeman are trying to make the best of a devastating situation. The two healthcare workers moved to Nova Scotia's Annapolis Valley from Montreal earlier this year to live in their dream home and start a family. Now they'll have to rebuild almost everything.
I'm just trying to focus on what's to come. I'm trying to not get too stressed out. He's been great at keeping me calm and repeating back to me how we have everything we need right here and home is wherever that we are.
Things are only more complicated by the fact that Yeland is due with the couple's first child in just 2 weeks. But she says the support from their new community has been unbelievable.
I mean, it's been incredible.
People from all over the Annapolis Valley are trying to help out those who have lost their homes or have been forced to leave whatever way possible.
Everybody's in shock. So we're just kind of taking the scope of this all in.
Gillis is the president of the West Dalhousie Community Hall and has been trying to connect those affected by the fire with housing, food, and with whatever else. But with hundreds of people out of their homes, he says accommodation has been the hardest thing to find for everyone.
This association has served nearly 7,000 meals at this point to the volunteers. They are the most hardworking guys I've ever met. We're so thankful for everybody involved there. But to the federal government, the provincial government, the everybody else, give us something of hope that somebody's going to support these people that do not have a home.
As you drive into Bridgetown, there's a sign that says, "The friendly town greets you." And ever since we arrived here, we've heard stories of people from all across the valley stepping up to help out complete strangers, who in some cases have lost everything and have nowhere to go. Josh Hoffman, CBC News, Bridgetown.
Officials have yet to determine the total number of homes damaged or destroyed from the Long Lake wildfire because the Department of Natural Resources says it's still too dangerous in some areas for a complete assessment.
It's dangerous area as the fire moves through. It causes a lot of damage to trees. There's some old growth there that we don't want anybody getting hurt, and removing those dangers so we can get into to do a full assessment is utmost priority first.
Meanwhile, there are no new reports of damage to homes in the last 24 hours, and the wildfire remains just over 8,000 hectares in size. Despite recent rain, DNR says conditions are getting drier. Additional crews arrived today to help with the firefighting efforts. Environment Canada says wind is pushing smoke from the Long Lake wildfire into other parts of Nova Scotia. Air quality alerts have been issued for Halifax, Lunenburg, Kings, and Hants counties. Dr. Jennifer Cram with Nova Scotia Health says that smoke is a health risk.
With the wildfire smoke comes the components that make up wildfire smoke, which is different gases as well as fine particulate matter, and those components can go on to cause health issues for some people more than others. But really, when air quality is very poor, everybody, regardless of age and health conditions, can be at risk.
Graham says on days when air quality is poor, it's a good idea to reduce the intensity of anything you do outdoors. She says those most at risk from smoke pollution include older adults, children, those who are pregnant or who have heart conditions or lung conditions, and those who work outdoors. And Ryan is here with the first look at the weather. I know it's a few days off, but you do see some showers, at least in the forecast.
Yeah, that's right. Looking ahead to the weekend, and hard to believe we're hoping for rain on the long weekend, but that's our next best shot, and so hope we will. As we look at the forecast for Thursday, again, a couple of isolated showers possible, Cape Breton back towards eastern parts of the mainland, but they will be hit and miss and indeed isolated, not amounting to too much. Overall, Thursday is going to be another quiet day. Mostly sunny skies with some building cloud cover in the mix into the afternoon. And again, those isolated showers developing here in the east. Friday, we'll see some cloud cover in the mix, but generally a mix of sun and cloud and staying dry yet again. Another system off to the south. It's this system here rolling in from the west into the Great Lakes, then into Quebec, then eventually here into the Maritimes. That will throw a southerly flow in, so that will increase the moisture. Good news for the wildfire situation. It will also increase our shower chances pretty much from start to finish. On Saturday, the shower chances will ramp up. The greater the risk, the later in the day we go. And you can see, yeah, we will see at least those showers in the mix Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening with a lingering chance into Sunday as well. Drier skies for Monday. We'll break down that full long weekend forecast coming up in a few minutes, Amy.
All right, we'll talk soon. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
The provincial government has given approval to Toronto-based company to start mining for gold in Guysborough County. Next Gold Mining says it'll get to work on the Guysborough gold mine in 2026. The president and CEO of Next Gold Mining says he's working out arrangements with the Mi'kmaq and the municipality of the district of Guysborough, promising, for example, to improve fish habitat in areas outside the mining operation and create up to 735 new jobs. The province is leasing the company 779 hectares of land for the next 15 years. Kevin Bullock says he hopes the mining continues well beyond that.
We have a lot of ground around our current resources that have a lot of opportunity for expansion. So I would think that within the next 13 to 15 years, we'll do a lot of exploration work on an ongoing basis to discover more and extend the mine life. We think this is going to be a multi-decade mine.
The province estimates the mine will generate $528 million in tax revenue for all three levels of government. The Cape Breton Miners Museum experienced a surge in visitors this summer. Visitation in July was up 44%. But as the CBC's Kyle Moore tells us, the museum still needs help financially with everyday operations.
Led by a retired coal miner, a group of visitors are ready to take a tour underground. It's a unique experience only offered at the Cape Breton Miners Museum, and one of the reasons people come here.
We did about 300 more visitors in June, 200 more visitors in July. Don't know what the August numbers are.
Mary Pat Bumbercat says more locals are coming to the museum, and they've seen visitors from Ontario and New England. She says one of the reasons is because of the trade battle with the United States.
Absolutely. It has a great deal to do with that. People are deciding not to spend time in the States because they want to support local, which is great. I think this is a wonderful trend for Canadians to have.
The number of people coming through the doors has been down in previous years, which has led to financial struggles. Last year, they were denied entry into the Nova Scotia Museum family.
Allow us to become part of the Nova Scotia Family Museums.
Being part of the group would allow the museum to receive funding to help with operational costs.
In the future, we're going to need to be able to make sure it's fiscally, financially able to be kept open, and then we need that funding.
An emailed statement from the Department of Communities, Culture, Tourism and Heritage says the province provides more than $94,000 each year in operating to support the Miners Museum. This is the largest grant of the 68 museums supported through the Community Museum Assistance Program, and it exceeds the annual funding provided to several Nova Scotia museum sites. Currently, there are no plans to expand the Nova Scotia museum system.
Oh, we're always in trouble. Our operations are totally funded, 70% funded by the people who walk in our doors. So if people don't walk in our doors, it's like, okay, what are we going to shut off? Or who are we not going to pay?
Mombercat says the museum board is hoping to meet with the province in the near future. Kyle Moore, CBC News, Glace Bay.
The Nova Scotia Liberal Party wants to introduce legislation to set a minimum age of 16 for social media use. The Social Media Responsibility Act would make Nova Scotia the first province in the country to have an age restriction. Last year, the government implemented a cell phone ban in schools to help reduce distractions. The Liberals say this age restriction is the next logical step. Janet Post, co-founder of the Nova Scotia chapter of Unplugged Canada, says the legislation will prioritize children's mental health and well-being.
The rate of the harms is so high that we just can't take this, we can't keep going this way. We have to make some change because it's impacting more kids in a negative way than it is kids in a positive way. So I think that's why we're starting, proposing at 16. That's when they're starting to drive. That's when they're starting to become an adult. We have to start teaching them how to be on these platforms safer. But under that, their development is so impacted by forming their identity at that age and the influence that these algorithms have on the content they're seeing, that it's just, we have to do something to help protect them, and many of them want that.
Liberal House Leader Ian Rankin will table the bill this fall. Australia and Norway recently introduced the same age restrictions. Nova Scotia's hemlocks are in trouble. A research project at Acadia University is investigating ways to increase protection for these beloved trees. The CBC's Moira Donovan brings us that story.
In a forest on the campus of Acadia University, researchers are using slingshots to find hemlock woolly-adelgid, an invasive species threatening the province's hemlocks. It's part of a research project led by Acadia to develop ways to protect the old-growth trees. The project's lead researcher says a solution can't come quickly enough.
For me, the urgency is very obvious. I've seen the forests, I've seen the dead trees, I've seen what we call the gray ghosts of dead hemlocks. So it's a significant threat.
Researchers say using tools like these allows them to pick up the insects present sooner, and that is essential.
If you can do early detection, especially in an urban center, for example, well then what happens there is you can manage that park or that location just to slow it down, because a lot of times you can't control it fully.
When it comes to management, researchers say there are two options. One is to treat trees with insecticides.
This is an unfortunate but necessary element to keeping trees alive, because without insecticide protection, these trees will perish. The other element for long-term sustainable control we're looking at is biological control methods, and that is basically releasing a predatory insect that can keep the pest populations down.
The project is looking at biodiversity changes in forests that are infested, as well as changes in forests where trees are treated with insecticides. They're also looking at strategies to increase the volume of predators and number of species that are released into the wild.
And that's sort of the longer term vision, is to develop this facility where we can release multiple different insect species to manage this insect pest without the need of insecticides.
To date, about 12,000 predatory beetles called Laricobius nigrinus have been brought from BC to Nova Scotia to control the adelgid. To increase that number, researchers are repurposing one of the university's greenhouses to house, rear, and release the predatory bugs. Hillier hopes this work will mean scientists can eventually release 50,000 to 60,000 predators a year. The facility's first residents will arrive in the fall. Moira Donovan, CBC News, Wolfville.
At Bridgetown, Ryan will be back next with the weather forecast. See you after the break.
This weather update is brought to you by Access Wellness Nova Scotia. Book your appointment today for free, confidential mental wellness support.
And Ryan's back with his full forecast. And of course, the wildfire continues to burn, and the smoke from that is spreading far and wide.
Yeah, that's right. Certainly in the mix again this morning. You could smell it in the air in through the metro area, down towards Lunenburg County as well. Hants County, certainly noticeable. That's where the special air quality statements are in effect. You can see the live look right now. This from our friends at Nova Scotia webcams. Pier 21. Yeah, quiet out there right now in the metro area. Couldn't really tell, based on what I could tell anyway, this afternoon, being out and about a little bit. You couldn't really smell it so much, but certainly this morning it was noticeable. And yeah, as we look at the winds, there's the statements first. And you can see the special air quality statement, Halifax, Hants, Kings, Lunenburg counties, and that special air quality warning where closest to the fire there, that Long Lake fire in the Annapolis County area. There are the winds, light and generally in from the west to southwest today. That's going to be the case again for tomorrow with those light winds tonight. You can see those gusts, Amherst 31 at last check, otherwise not too gusty. Temperatures right in the high teens, low 20s across the board. Pretty much, par for the course this time of year, a bit shy in some cases. There's the wet weather that, again, it'd be so nice if this could just be, say, 100, 200K further to the northwest and we could really get into this. But unfortunately, not the case, as this is sailing into Newfoundland as that system stays offshore. But this system here, this low working its way into Quebec, and the trough digging its way down into the Great Lakes, and new low developing here. That is going to be our weather maker for the weekend. And so at least we will get some wet weather from that. As we look at the temperatures across Canada, also thankful not getting into this hot, surging heat, very dry. Regina back to Edmonton and Calgary, right near 30 degrees right now. Cooler temps here into the Great Lakes. This is what is on its way for us. Those temperatures remaining in the low 20s in the coming days. As we look at the forecast for tonight, maybe a single digit or two in through inland low-lying areas of eastern parts of the mainland. Everywhere else, temperatures in that 12 to 13 degree range for the overnight tonight, with those light winds. So there goes the system offshore. A couple of very isolated showers possible for this evening into the early overnight. Looks like the best chance is going to be sailing to our north overnight, though. As we turn the page into Thursday, we're looking at a mostly sunny day and pretty quiet conditions from the get-go tomorrow. Into the afternoon, as I mentioned earlier, the possibility of a pop-up shower here across eastern parts of the mainland, drawing the line from, say, Pictou County to Truro to Halifax and east of that line. Perhaps an isolated risk up towards Cumberland County and Cobequid Bay as well. But the greatest risk is going to be here across Cape Breton. And even there, the showers look pretty spotty, hit and miss. They won't last for too long. Quiet into Thursday evening as well. Temperatures on the island tomorrow ranging between about 20 to 23 degrees with those westerly winds near 20, 23, 24 degrees for eastern parts of the mainland as well. And as we look at the forecast for central areas, that slight risk for a shower here into the afternoon as well. Temperatures ranging between about 20 to 23 degrees. And into the west, onshore winds keeping temperatures closer to the high teens. Inland, we're going to be back up into the 23, 24 range with that mostly sunny sky becoming a mix of sun and cloud into the afternoon. There's a bit of cloud in the mix for Friday, but I think we're staying dry overall. The low moving its way in, drawing in that southerly flow. And so we will see the winds increasing a little bit for Friday from the south. Temperatures 20 to 24 degrees across the province. And then for the Saturday time period, again, that low continuing counterclockwise spin, drawing in that southerly flow. So more moisture being drawn into this system, and that will increase our showers as the shower chances, that is, as we move into the afternoon and the evening time frame. Saturday night, lingering chances for showers on Sunday as well, but I think that's a better chance for seeing some sun breaks in the mix. Monday, holiday Monday, looking quiet and dry. And yes, back to school next week, Amy. Hard to believe we're here already.
It sure is. Comes up fast.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for that, Ryan.
Thank you.
Well, this year's wildfire season is the second worst on record as the country battles fires this summer. Countless communities have been evacuated and resources have been stretched thin. Julia Wong looks into whether other solutions could provide relief, including the expanded use of volunteer firefighters and the risks that could pose.
Well, we're nothing if not resilient.
When wildfires tore through Alberta in 2023, Sean Guernsey jumped in to protect the family property.
Trying to fight it with whatever we had, whether, dirt, a couple skid steers, pails, 5-gallon pails.
All of this stuff was brown.
The property was saved, thanks in part to a contingent of relatives and neighbors who stepped up.
It was a 24-hour period before we saw official firefighters.
As Canada battles another brutal wildfire season, taxing resources once again, should other firefighting models be explored? In the state of Victoria in Australia, a volunteer fire service responds to bushfires. Volunteers get nationally recognized training.
You operate exactly like any other fire service would operate. The only difference is the people that are in the truck responding to the incidents are not paid. They're not remunerated.
Here in Canada, in provinces such as Alberta, anyone can sign up to be a wildfire reservist. Those reservists help out in firefighter camps or with hotspots. They get a day and a half of training and undergo a fitness test. They're paid during that training and if they're deployed.
They want to be involved and help where they can. And of course, we want to make sure that that opportunity is available for them.
Critics say Alberta's program puts people at risk, and a day and a half of training isn't enough.
They won't recognize the dangers. Being able to understand fire behavior, understanding actions and reactions.
Guernsey agrees the work is dangerous, but he still plans to sign up next wildfire season.
Hopefully people can be wise, but you should be allowed the decision whether or not you fight for your place, for your neighbors, for your livelihood.
Alberta's reservist program started in 2024. About 80 people signed up this year, fewer than last year. The province's forestry minister says the program will continue, adding there's no jurisdiction in the world with enough personnel to fight wildfires. Julia Wong, CBC News, Edmonton.
Coming up, as wildfire smoke prompts air quality warnings in some parts of Nova Scotia, officials are warning about the potential health risks. smoke from the Long Lake wildfire is creating air quality issues in some parts of the province. Winds are driving plumes of smoke as far as 100 kilometers from the Annapolis Valley fire. Environment Canada has issued air quality warnings for several counties. Dr. Jennifer Cram is Provincial Medical Officer of Health. So first off, let's start with the risks posed by this wildfire smoke.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me here today to talk about the health impacts of reduced air quality. Before I get into that, I just wanted to, express my extreme condolences to people who have been evacuated during this event, and for those who have so unfortunately lost their homes. We're going to talk about the health impacts of reduced air quality from wildfire smoke today, but I didn't want to lose sight of the extreme emotional and mental health toll that those people are going through. With the wildfire smoke comes the components that make up wildfire smoke, which is different gases as well as fine particulate matter, and those components can go on to cause health issues for some people more than others. But really, when air quality is very poor, everybody, regardless of age and health conditions, can be at risk. So some things that you could experience if you're in an area with reduced air quality due to that smoke would be irritation of the eyes, the throat, the nose, and then people, especially people with underlying respiratory illnesses like asthma or COPD, can really experience a flare-up or worsening of those conditions. And additionally, people with underlying heart disease can also experience worsening of symptoms associated with that. And so, as I said before, while everyone's at risk when the air quality alerts are at a high level, some groups are more vulnerable even when the levels are more in the moderate range. And so that would include elderly people over the age of like 65, very young children and infants, pregnant people, people who smoke, people who have to work outdoors despite the conditions, and then people with underlying health conditions, especially those lung and heart conditions.
So what can people do to protect themselves? I say, does wearing a mask outdoors help? But what can people do?
My top recommendation would be to follow the air quality alerts that Environment Canada puts out. They use the Air Quality Health Index, which uses a low, moderate, and high rating, and know what's going on in your area. The additional monitoring that we have in Nova Scotia is also something called the Purple Air Monitoring System, which can provide real-time updates and has broader coverage throughout the province. And that can be really useful as those winds shift to see when those numbers are climbing up and then when they go back down again. So know the risk in your area to inform the steps that you can take. And if you're seeing that smoke is causing that air quality to go into the moderate or high range, that's the time to start thinking about taking action depending on the risks that you as an individual face. So important things to do is, if possible, remove yourself from the smoky situation. So that means going indoors, keeping windows closed, and just keeping things as tight indoors as you can. Be aware of what sort of cooling system your home has or the indoor space has. If it's one that involves fresh air intake, turn that off if possible, or have a good quality filter in place. If your home is not one that where you feel that you can take those actions to reduce the amount of smoke coming indoors, then look for places in your area. There might be libraries that are open or other public spaces where you could go to take a break.
So how long can the particulates hang in the air?
That will depend on the wind, both the wind direction and other characteristics that Environment Canada may give more information about. It can really vary, though, depending on things like wind direction. And so that's where that purple air monitor with those real-time updates can be really useful.
Now, do you have to see and smell the smoke for it to be dangerous?
Not necessarily. You're not the particulate matter we often call PM 2.5, and that speaks to the really tiny particles that can go deep into the lungs. And you're not going to be able to smell those. I mean, certainly smelling smoke in the air is one indicator, but I would really encourage people to look at the monitoring systems to give them a more realistic sense of what the air quality is like in their area.
All right, some good advice, Dr. Cram. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
Coming up, 2 children are dead and more than a dozen people injured after a shooting at a Catholic school in Minneapolis. And as Canada continues to work towards a trade deal with the U.S., India is being hit with a 50% tariff starting today. Welcome back. A gunman opened fire at a Catholic school in Minneapolis on Wednesday, killing 2 young children and injuring 17 other people. The attack took place during morning mass. The city's mayor has expressed outrage.
And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance.
Authorities say the gunman was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. After the attack, he shot and killed himself. The dead children were just 8 and 10 years old. One little boy who survived the attack credits a friend with saving his life when shots were fired through a stained glass window.
It was like right beside me. I was like 2 seats away from the stained glass windows. So they were like, the shots were like right next to me. The first one, I was like, what is that? I thought it was just something, then when I heard it again, I just ran under the pew, and then I covered my head. My friend Victor, saved me, though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit. He's really brave, and I hope he's good in the hospital.
All but 3 of the injured individuals are children. Some of them are in critical condition. An investigation is underway. Israeli officials are in Washington to discuss the war in Gaza. No details have emerged so far, but U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff has said that President Donald Trump would share a meeting about a very comprehensive plan. In Gaza itself, the fighting goes on, with local health authorities reporting dozens of Palestinians dead and wounded. Journalist Blake Sifton has the latest.
The Israeli military is intensifying operations on the outskirts of Gaza City, as well as the nearby city of Jabalia. That's all coming ahead of the offensive to seize and occupy all of Gaza City. There's been heavy airstrikes and widespread shelling by both tanks and artillery. And the United Nations says some 8,000 civilians have fled those affected areas to other neighborhoods in the west of Gaza City. The Israeli military spokesperson said that the evacuation of the civilian population of Gaza City was inevitable. He urged people to flee south to open areas in southern Gaza near the area around El Mawasi. Of course, Gaza City is home to some 1 million Palestinian civilians, and aid organizations have said that the starvation crisis already underway there could become much, much worse if this offensive goes ahead. The Israeli military have said that they will set up aid distribution sites as well as water infrastructure and tents to accommodate those displaced from Gaza City. Now, meanwhile, yesterday, Tuesday, the Israeli Security Cabinet met, and they reportedly did not discuss the ceasefire proposal that mediators have put forth and that Hamas agreed to last week. That ceasefire proposal would see the release of roughly half of the Israeli hostages held in captivity in Gaza. The Israeli government has not responded to that proposal, and they've insisted repeatedly that they will only accept a deal now for the release of all of the hostages, and they will only stop the fighting if Hamas effectively surrenders. Yesterday, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said that the Trump administration supports that position. So the Israeli government does seem intent on pushing forward with this operation, this offensive, to seize and occupy Gaza City. Blake Sifton for CBC News, Tel Aviv.
In Ukraine, military officials are acknowledging Russian forces have entered a key eastern industrial region. This is video from Russia's defense ministry. The footage has been verified by Reuters. It shows that Russian soldiers in a reportedly captured Ukrainian village in the region of Dnipropetrovsk. Russia had claimed earlier this summer that its forces were gaining ground in the region. Ukraine's military admitted yesterday the fighting is ongoing there, but it denies Russia's claims to have captured multiple communities. Tariffs on many imports from India to the U.S. have just doubled to 50%. President Donald Trump says the move is to punish the country for buying Russian oil. Journalist Rebecca Bunden looks at the economic impact on India.
With the additional 25% tariff from the US on India coming into effect, taking the total up to 50%, that is a big blow to relations between New Delhi and Washington. And President Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India have had a warm relationship. But the US has hit out at India for its increased imports of oil from Russia, which Trump says is being used to fund Russia's war in Ukraine, partly. And these import duties will have a big impact on businesses as well. Although the effect on the economy, which is expected to be about 0.6% of GDP, economists say can be absorbed, there's a substantial impact on certain sectors, and that includes gems and jewelry, auto components and textiles, for example. And these are labour-intensive sectors. They employ a lot of people who often work in manual jobs, and companies are worried about the impact not just on their own business but also on people's livelihoods. And they're saying what they're looking at now is potentially diversifying to other markets, but this isn't something that can happen overnight. They're also calling for more financial assistance, but something by the government hasn't been announced yet. And they also say it's very difficult to diversify quickly, and they're worried that their US customers will simply turn to countries that are now more competitive in terms of their tariff rates. Now, talks between India and the US on trade, they broke down a few weeks ago, although there had been expectations that they might be able to reach some kind of a deal. Now, there isn't any clarity on when the US and India might sit down again and try to reach some kind of deal. But there's still some optimism among some experts in India that this is something that they will want to do, given the fact that they are key partners, that they will want to try to come to some kind of a deal and resolve this. Rebecca Bunzen for CBC News, Mumbai.
Denmark has summoned the top U.S. diplomat in the country following a report that Americans have been running covert operations in Greenland. According to Danish media reports, the Americans' goal is to encourage people on the island to secede from Denmark to the U.S. Danish intelligence officials say Greenland has been targeted by, quote, influence campaigns. Denmark's foreign minister says any attempt to interfere with the country's internal affairs would be unacceptable. U.S. President Trump has said in the past that he would like to annex Greenland, which is a semi-autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. A Cree community in Saskatchewan could soon become Canada's newest First Nation. The Peter Chapman Band is making a renewed push for independence more than a century after the federal government forced it to merge with two other bands. The CBC's Alexander Silberman reports.
In the heart of the prairies, a First Nation community is trying to build an independent future.
It shows the government that we are serious.
Adam Whitehead is part of the decades-long fight to get the Peter Chapman Cree Band recognized by the federal government.
We're trying to correct that mistake they made.
But you're not waiting on the government to move forward and show your independence?
No. We're going to dance to our own song now, and we're not stopping until the government finally realizes that we're an independent band.
The community is now building 28 new homes, spending its $50 million share of a recent settlement for broken treaty promises.
This was just a canola field a year and a half ago.
So you're building a new First Nation from the ground up?
From the ground up, yeah, that's what our goal is. Well, I think it's our right to be our own community.
But in the eyes of the federal government, still a part of the larger James Smith Cree Nation. The Peter Chapman Band signed on to Treaty 5 in 1875, creating a new reserve in central Saskatchewan. But an Indian agent forced three bands to merge into one in the early 1900s. Nearby Chakastapason lost its land completely, also becoming part of James Smith.
We signed treaties, and yet we were stripped from our own community.
Chief Calvin Sanderson says becoming an independent band would allow each nation to secure direct funding and control how it is spent. The priority here is housing.
That light at the end of the tunnel is coming, and hopefully we can light that candle and once and for all.
The federal government says it's in active talks with the three nations to consider recognition.
It's uplifting.
Elder and former Chief Phyllis Head says seeing the first ever band office for Peter Chapman gives her hope.
For many, many years, this issue has been worked on, and it's going to become a reality.
The community says marking its assertion as an independent band will help right a historical wrong, reestablishing its place as a distinct nation on the prairies. Alexander Silberman, CBC News, Peter Chapman First Nation.
A new caffeinated product is on the market. It's a small tea bag-like pouch that delivers a quick caffeine hit when placed between the lip and gum. As the CBC's Alison Northcott tells us, the product is growing in popularity among teens, and health experts are concerned.
They work really fast because it's straight to your saliva.
Promoted by influencers.
I just had to look up a video on it, but you're actually supposed to put them in your upper lip like this.
And athletes.
Pack a punch.
Caffeine pouches are these little packets of caffeine that are placed under the lip.
Or in class, struggling to stay awake. Same. That's why I use Grind's caffeine pouches.
Each pouch can contain between 25 and more than 200 milligrams of caffeine. Compare that to a small coffee, which has about 100 milligrams, or a can of cola with about 35 to 45.
This is one of the packages. You've seen these before?
I have. So we can see one of the pouches. They're small.
They may be small, but this researcher says they could still cause serious harm in young people if they're overused or mixed with other caffeine sources.
The body that's naive to caffeine or smaller may actually respond very strongly to that, with some risks as severe as heart complications, heart arrest, or even overdose.
With coffee, chocolate, and energy drinks, there are a lot of caffeinated options on the market. Some here are intrigued by this latest one.
It's kind of cool. Honestly, it's kind of cool. If there's not time to have a coffee, it's like a good way to have that caffeinated feel.
But this sleep medicine specialist says young people especially should be careful.
It's best that young people actually not use these caffeine pouches. If you have to take a stimulant to keep yourself awake at school or work, then it begs the question, do you have a sleep problem at night that's causing you to feel so fatigued?
The companies we spoke with say their pouches aren't meant for or marketed to kids, and say their products are an alternative to nicotine pouches or energy drinks. Still, some say the products need more scrutiny.
There is a need for education around these products and appropriate health warnings, which aren't always there.
Health Canada told us the department is investigating several cases to see if some of these products are breaking federal rules. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
Quebec francophones have been watching a dubbed version of The Simpsons for decades, but it now looks like the show won't be available in their mother tongue, and they face the prospect of bidding adieu to Homer Simpson and his family. But as Sarah Levitt tells us, there's an effort underway to prevent that from happening.
The Simpsons. It's a cultural juggernaut worldwide, and in Quebec, the hijinks of the Simpsons family are tailored to its audience in culture and language. For 35 years, a uniquely Quebec version of The Simpsons has been dubbed in Quebecois French. That's now in jeopardy.
If you watch the original Simpsons in English, you'll hear this.
Hey, back off, man!
Oh, okay, dude. I wouldn't want you to have a cow, man.
But if you're watching the Québécois version, you'll get it in full joual, Quebec slang.
Hey, ça va faire, man!
Oh, OK, le smart. Tu vas pas nous chier un autobus, man.
Chorus Entertainment hasn't renewed its broadcasting rights and won't provide the Quebecois dubbing anymore. Instead, it'll be up to Disney Plus, and so far it appears that's not happening. Disney didn't reply to requests for comment.
C'est important qu'on ait une version québécoise.
Joshua Biasotto says it's important to have a Quebecois version because it's something the people of Quebec can identify with. He's launched a petition that's already amassed more than 25,000 signatures. The show uses local references and name checks Quebec celebrities and politicians. And the French version from France just won't cut it for many.
Imagine yourself not having access as a Canadian to the US version of The Simpsons and being forced to watch a UK version.
Despite the loss of Les Simpsons, streaming services like Amazon Prime and Netflix have kept Quebec's dubbing industry busy.
Because they want the language and they want the culture and they want the flavor. Is Disney going to find a new partnership with another broadcaster? Hopefully.
Or else, for the first time in 36 years, Les Simpsons won't be available en français québécois. Sarah Levitt, CBC News, Montreal.
Well, strengthened financial sectors have helped Canada's main stock index finish higher on Wednesday, while the U.S. markets also rose. Here's a look at the numbers as we go to break.
This weather update is brought to you by Access Wellness Nova Scotia. Book your appointment today for free, confidential mental wellness support.
Well, as you said earlier, it feels kind of weird hoping for rain on a long weekend, but here we are.
Yeah, and Long Lake, that corridor from the valley back to Long Lake, Kedzie, and then over towards Yarmouth and Digby, that northwest corner of the province, that is where it is super dry, still need the rain, and yeah, we'll keep hoping for sure. As we look at the weather picture of the day, we're going to zoom in on the Lunenburg area. This one from Long Island, which is kind of at the head of Mahone Bay, and a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
Brian Wan back here, anchored in this spot, and a pretty fantastic picture.
Absolutely. Look at the colors there off the water, and gorgeous.
Ryan's picks at cbc.ca as we look at the forecast for tonight. A very isolated chance for a shower over the next little bit. That incoming trough unfortunately fades away as it moves in. Back to the sunshine tomorrow. The possibility of a few showers developing for eastern parts of the mainland and into Cape Breton. That'll be into the afternoon. And then as we move into the Friday time period, a mix of sun and cloud, and we're going to be looking at that system that's passing offshore, unfortunately, but holding hands, so to speak, with the system that's coming in from the west. And that system that's coming in from the west will draw in some moisture from the south and east from that passing low. And as a result, we'll at least see the pretty good chance for some showers developing on Saturday. The afternoon and evening will be our greater chances for seeing those showers. And so, yes, at least a little bit of wet weather in the forecast. Not enough, as we know. We'll get right to that 7-day forecast. Maybe not. Do we have time? There it is, just to show you the showers into Sunday as well.
All right. Well, tens of thousands of people took to the streets in Spain today for the annual food fight festival, Tomatina. Knee-deep in tomato pulp, 22,000 tourists and residents hurled tomatoes at each other for non-stop for an hour across Buñol's largest street.
The festival is said to have originated from an argument between villagers in 1945. The event was banned for a while in the 1950s, but continued to gain popularity since the 1980s.
There's a lot of laundry to be done there.
A lot of mess.
That's it for us tonight. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.